Anime and manga have long been at the heart of Japanese culture. With the amazing illustrations and, of course, storyline, anime and manga have successfully become one of the main entertainment source for most of the countries worldwide. Konbanwa minasan, watashi wa Ayuni desu. I will be your host for today's Thursday talk show. So welcome to the show. Today, I will talk about a very familiar topic, I would say, regarding anime and manga, one that could be considered as a culture as well, and that topic is cosplay itself. In order to gain a better understanding or a better view regarding that topic, I will interview or I will talk with some special guests that we will have tonight. And I believe those people are very, very experienced in this field. Dear viewers, if you have any questions, please type in the comment section below. Before I invite our first guest in, let's take a look on this clip, shall we?
こんにちは、皆さんお元気ですか？私の名前はアマンダと申します。よろしくお願いします。Hello everybody, my name is Amanda. I am born and raised in Kuala Lumpur. I am not exactly a cosplayer, but I was actually in the cosplay team, making props and material during my time, which was in the early 2000s. That was when cosplay just started back then in Malaysia. So I hope that this evening I could share some experience and my fun times during back then that happened many moons ago. So looking forward to this session this evening. Thank you and see you there. Mata yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Hi, everybody. Let's welcome Amanda in. A big round of applause. Okay.
Konnichiwa.
Hello. Konnichiwa. How are you
Konnichiwa.
feeling today, Amanda?
Excited and nervous, I would say. Didn't expect to be invited to such a show talking about cosplay suddenly.
I hope that you are being fine today because I would like to start right away if it's fine with you. Okay.
All good.
So, all right. Amanda, do you mind telling us a little bit about how exactly the art of cosplay start in Malaysia?
Okay, so basically, this is based on my recollection because I actually discovered about cosplay very much early back then in Malaysia. If I actually discovered it in 2003 when I
Wow.
was I was still in primary school, going to secondary school, and then I believe back then there was only one organization that was actually doing cosplay convention, and everyone knows about it, which is Comic Fiesta. And for those of you all who are familiar with Comic Fiesta, I think they are the first one that started the convention in 2002. And back then the crowd was very small, less than 1,000.
Yeah.
And then because I was very young back then, I didn't had the chance to go because of parents' restriction. You see, I only got my first chance to attend it, despite knowing it in 2003. I only got my first chance to attend in 2005, when I was when I was about between 13 to 15 years old back then, and accompanied by my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
after that, throughout the years, I would say cosplay has really grow into a very large crowd. It becomes from a niche interest to a very big interest among the younger generation, I would say. Like I mentioned earlier, it started in 2002, less than 1,000 people, to the point now you can see like 10, 20, 30,000 people going to KLCC Convention Center for the yearly Comic Fiesta convention. And then aside from Comic Fiesta convention, I believe now there are so many different kinds of anime convention that you can actually attend now.
yeah, that's so true. Like, there's everywhere, I think, because I see so many cosplayer nowadays, and
Yeah.
I don't really, like realize that, so it's like actually start from a little, convention, something like that, and then it grows bigger throughout the years,
Yeah,
something
correct.
like in Malay we say like sikit-sikit lama-lama menjadi bukit, something like that, right?
In this case, memang betul-betul menjadi bukit sampai menjadi gunung lah. I think so in my personal opinion, because like throughout the years, I would say I myself as a witness that I saw how cosplay grow in Malaysia. I think it's amazing because like between the 2002 all the way to 2013 or 2014, it grew tremendously. The venue
Oh,
gotten bigger and bigger, and to the point that only KLCC can accommodate them now.
all right, I understand. All
Yeah.
right, so that is interesting. So I think we move on to the next question right now. So Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
in cosplay, I believe that there are many skills involved. So
Mm-hmm.
does one have to master all the skills or just be specialized in one particular skill to be able to do cosplay? What do you think
Um,
about
I,
that?
I think in this part, it really depends on what are your capabilities and how much you want to, venture out lah. Like for my case, because okay, back then during my days, cosplay is a very expensive hobby, and I don't have the privilege to do the cosplay, but I decided to seek out to be in a cosplay props team, because back then to outsource and buy all these materials and fix all this and make all this, it's not easy to do. So I decided to join that team, and in some ways you actually learn a skill. You actually learn to find out suppliers, find out things by yourself. You learn how to build stuff by yourself. So this was the skill that I learned. Another, I think it for some other cosplayer that like some of them who do one man show, who can handle everything from the beginning to the end, from making
Yeah.
the clothes to cosplaying the character and being in character. I think that is also very good. It really depends on your capability and what you're looking for lah, I would say.
I see.
That
So you
Mhm.
mentioned that you are the prop and costume maker, isn't it?
mm, yes, we I
So
was
so
uh-huh.
it's okay. And you mentioned that you discovered the skill after you joined the cosplay thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think to me, I would say I discovered the skill that I actually do enjoy helping to build stuff, to do
Mm-hmm.
sewing. I also learned to outsource materials. I actually, back then when that generation where you just started with the internet, you start digging for information. I actually decided to find out more about cosplay materials. Because back then you can't purchase things like that. So we actually went to find out where to get cloth, where to get the best material cloth for a cheaper price, where to buy wood, where to find carpenter who can actually like cut out the shape of your weapon that you want. Yeah, so actually I would say this is considered a skill because you learn how to outsource to find all these things, and it's not easy. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's one
true.
of
It's
it.
not easy.
Mm.
I see.
So
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 cosplay
it's
did
it's
really like
really
make you something like you
yeah. So it's
realize a secret skill inside of you, right? Okay.
yeah.
So, since you are the prop and the costume maker, I think it will be, interesting if we also ask our other two guests that will be joining us tonight. But before I invite them in, how about we take a look at the clip that they have prepared for us today?
はーい、こんにちは。私の名前はあやです。今は私はもう23歳です。私は趣味はコスプレです。今日のコスプレはカナオツユリ from 鬼滅の刃 and I am actually a student from UiTM Puncak Perdana, currently studying in bachelor degree in theatre cinematography and also representing Vita cosplayers. Yay, Vita cosplayer! And this is some of my work from my studies. This is costume designing during my third semester, and this is my set design. Some of my set design that I did during my fourth years, and I'm actually in the internship soon. So I hope we all can get along, and I hope we had fun today. よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして皆さん。はい。私はカオリニーです。23歳です。マレーシアのクアラルンプールに住んでいます。家族と住んでいます。Currently, I am studying at Technology Mara University, Faculty of Film, Theatre and Animation, majoring in 3D animation production. 私の趣味はコスプレです。As you can see right now, I'm cosplaying as a hijab version of Crew Tepes from Owari no Seraph. I've been cosplaying as a hobby for about 8 years, since 2014. The reason why I love cosplaying is because I like sewing, handcrafting to make my own costume, and also I enjoy going to events with my friend, cosplaying together, taking videos, doing photo shoots. 楽しいですね。Thank you for inviting me for today's session. よろしくお願いします。
Alright. So let's welcome Aya and Kaorinee in. Let's have a round of applause. Wow.
Hello,
はい、
everyone.
こんばんは皆さん。
はい、こんばんは。
Okay, so wow, you two
あやです。
Aya ですね。
私はカオリニーです。
はい、Kaorinee です。Alright. はい、so earlier, I asked Amanda about whether one should, specialize in one skill or maybe master every skill in cosplay in order to create a cosplay. So, what are your thoughts?
For me, I don't think, especially nowadays, since it is easier to buy costume from the market, from through online market, and it is quite cheap. I mean, if you have the money, of course. So I don't think there are particular skills that you need to truly master in order to cosplay. I mean, if you have skills in prop making or sewing or acting, maybe, then it is a bonus, of course. You can portray the character as close as possible to the original character, of course. But for me, I don't think you really need to exactly master any kind of skills. But if you do have, then that's a bonus because I feel like cosplaying is a learning process. Yeah, because I learned how to do my own makeup. I learned how to do a hairdo with my hijab, and I learned how to make costume and yeah, so on. So yeah.
Okay, so how about Aya? You want to add up?
I kind of agree with Kaori because when I first started cosplay, it was very, very budget. I do not have the costume, I don't know. It's very, very budget cosplay, like just 50 only. But as you grow and as you experience more, your skill improve a lot. Like you can totally you can took my first picture and my current cosplay picture is totally different. You learn as you cosplay as you go through your experience. Like I started, I don't know when did I started again? 2015, somewhere around that. It was very, very budget cosplay. Now look at me. I can already buy some.
I definitely
So
have
yeah,
to
and there's
agree
some
with her.
and there are some it doesn't mean that you have to cosplay. There are some also like photographer, props maker, and like the behind the scene they always help the cosplayer carry their stuff.
Okay, understandable. So even if we have like minimal, that doesn't really stop you from being a cosplay, isn't it? So now, actually, I kind of like wondering what characters are you portraying today, Karini and Aya? May I know? I think the viewers would like to know too.
I think most of the viewer might already know because this is a really popular show. Okay, so I am cosplaying as Shinobu from Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer.
I'm also cosplaying from the same series, Kimetsu no Yaiba, as Kano Tsuri, actually her apprentice over here. Yeah, as her
Oh
apprentice.
yeah, over here, over here. Okay. So you guys like plan it out or something?
Yeah, yeah. Because we're like quite close, so why not we cosplay from the same show? So yeah.
That's really sweet of you, and we really appreciate that effort. Thank you for cosplaying with such, relationship like that. All right. So I guess that now that we all are here, let's move on to our next question. So, if I am not mistaken, cosplaying is actually a very new culture, I say, in Malaysia. I think it's like just recently it was accepted and supported by our people. So, may I know how exactly did you get yourself into cosplay? So, let's hear from Amanda first.
Okay. My story is a little different from most people. I think I come from a family where my dad is actually into manga, reading
Okay.
comic books, and you know those days in the 70s, 80s, there were animes as well. Very much earlier Gundam, Mazinger, and whatnot. And you know, as he got married and he has children, I'm the third child. I have two older brothers. He still continued reading manga, and we used to rent comic books from comic book shop. It was a trend back then.
Mm-hmm.
We read a lot Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Slam Dunk, and whatnot. So this is something
Wow.
I actually grew up with. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
This is like Japanese culture sort of have been around my family for a very long time. I even started watching Studio Ghibli movie, not knowing it was Studio Ghibli movie since I was 5. Never knew about all
Oh,
this. Yeah, so eventually, one thing lead to another. You got so used to watching this kind of animation. This actually called as anime, and then eventually
mm-hmm.
there was also tokusatsu, Kamen Rider and Ultraman back then. So one thing leads to another, and then this looked very familiar to you because you grew up with it. And then slowly, there was when newspapers are always the one that's informing about the latest news. So back
Mm-hmm.
then in the Star newspaper, Star Two section on every Saturday, Sunday, they will highlight something that's on the current trend, and that's where cosplay started coming in from there. And then that's where I started discover about it. So like you can bring anime into the real world. People start dressing up as your favorite character. So that's where I started realizing that this is something new. And
Oh.
then they mentioned that there was a convention just started for the first time in Malaysia back then. It was very very
Mm-hmm.
small. Not many people knew about it, but yet people who's into such kind of anime culture and whatnot, you find this amazing, lah, I would say.
So you
Yeah.
started like be interested in cosplay because of your family background, isn't it?
Mm, in some ways, yes. In some way, no. Because this was just naturally when I was born into my family, just naturally this culture on anime and manga and Japanese drama is just everywhere in my life. So I just go along with it.
All right, all
Yeah.
right, all right. Actually, I kind of can, relate to you because my father, okay, he may be not that a manga reader like your father, but when I go back to my grandmother's house, I actually found like tons of Dragon Ball comics. So I used to read them too
Yeah,
back then.
exactly.
It's like this is really cool, you know.
Yeah, it's something that you actually did not realize is actually part of the anime culture, you see. So it's like even Doraemon also, you never expect this come from the anime culture. Only later in life when you get older, then you start to realize this is actually a category called anime from Japanese culture. So
Yeah.
that's where you start to have the light bulb moment, like oh my gosh,
I know. All right.
Yeah.
Now, thank you, Amanda, for sharing with us. So now let's hear from Aya-san. How did you get yourself into cosplay?
Especially because I watch a lot of television when I was a
Oh,
child,
oh yeah. Okay.
especially NTV7. Now the NTV7 no longer exists, but I, when I was a child, that was my only source of entertainment because I have a big gap with my older sibling. The oldest one is like 12, and then 10, and then 8, and then 4 year gap. So, and all of them go to dormitories, and I'm the only one in the house. I'm lonely. So my only
Oh.
source of entertainment is the NTV7. first you watch Doraemon. Of course, we all know Doraemon. It's the
Yeah.
like childhood. And then I got into Digimon. And then I got into
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Cardcapture
yeah.
Sakura. And after that, the rest is history. And I start little by little, I got into like very, very into anime. I was like, I really, really want to dress up as them. But how? Because I'm a Muslim and how do
Ah,
you like? I cannot wear wig. And then like 2000, like I think it's early 2005, like somewhere around there, like internet started. Internet just started, the era of internet. And then my sister do sometimes like come by and they give her laptop, and then searching, and then I stumbled upon Hatsune Miku cosplay from Indonesia. And I was like,
oh, I
oh,
see.
you can actually cosplay using hijab. So that's how I started.
All right.
At that time, I was in high school. So I actually based in Penang. So I cannot go to KL, Comic Festa. Like my parents will never give permission for me to like go to KL alone, going to convention.
Totally
But my first
understand.
time going to convention is as a normie student, as a normie, like wearing casual clothes like that, not cosplaying. 2012. At that time, Comic Festa just started. Like literally just started at that time. Like it started to get bigger and bigger. So and then little by little, and then you got friends from internet, Facebook, and everywhere. In fact, my own second cousin is also into the anime culture. So I got bonding time with her, and then 2015-16 is the moment where I first started cosplay, budget cosplay. Even though it's a budget cosplay, I am very satisfied. And then later on, later, you just gain experience, your skill improve. Yeah, that's how I got into the internet. Internet.
Into the cosplay.
Actually, cosplay itself it also like helped me choose my course in my university actually.
Oh, so I guess cosplay really does, give you like a big influence, like, not influence, like benefit
Direction.
for you. Direction. Yeah, thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, because I got into theater from Prince of Tennis musical.
Wow.
Oh,
I know, I mean, it's very classy. I know old anime a lot.
Oh, very good. We
all
can be
right,
good friends.
all right. Yeah, you guys can be good friends. All right, thank you, Aya, for sharing with us. So, lastly, we will ask Kaorinee, how exactly do you start cosplaying?
Well, it is quite simple actually. Basically, start from watching anime, like always, from anime culture. And at first, when I was little, I do not grow up with Doraemon, Shinchan. Actually, I grew up with Disney princess and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the Disney's movie basically. I started to watch anime in like middle schools because of my friend. She just gave me tons of anime to watch, and I was like, okay, I watch, and then I was hooked up. Basically, I'm hooked, and
Mm.
I was so into anime. And basically, well, with social medias, you follow accounts that do fan art, for example. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stumbled upon this one cosplayer from Japan. Her name is Reika, if you know about her. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, whoa, she looks so good. And she made her own costume. And she looks exactly like the character that she portrayed. And at that time, I was like, maybe I can do the same thing. But how?
Ah, okay.
and and I was and that time, and my hobby is actually sewing. I like to sew. I like to sew clothes, all types of clothes, traditional, modern, and I like to do handcrafting. So I want to try using this skill to make my own costume. So I try make one. My very first costume is actually Sakura from Naruto. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
very pretty easy costume. So I start with that one. So and I wear the costume and went to Comic Festa. And this was very nerve wracking because at that time there's not a lot of cosplay that wore hijab.
Mm,
At
yeah,
that time,
understand.
most of the cosplay is from like Chinese basically or men. So I'm very nervous, but you know what? I want to show people what I make, so I just
Yeah,
wear
of
it.
course.
Okay, so I just wear it, and surprisingly, people like it. People like there are people that come to me and take picture with me, and at that time I feel like, oh, I feel really appreciated. I feel like, am I a celebrity? So yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay. And people like really like it because yeah, there's not a lot of people at that time that wear hijab and also cosplay in the same time. And from that, I start to make more costume. I start to do more basically costume, and I also stumbled across this club hijab cosplay, this
Mm-hmm.
organization hijab cosplayer, Sakira Izumi, and I don't remember
Oh.
the rest. So that become also my inspiration to continue cosplaying. So yeah,
I
basically.
see. All right. Thank you for sharing how you exactly started cosplaying. So while I was, listening to all of your beautiful stories, I say, I actually seem to realize that all three of you have gone to cosplay convention before, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it is safe for me to assume that probably all of you have been doing numerous or maybe some cosplay across before. So if that is the case, I would like to ask, like, what type of character do you like to portray and why? So, how about we start with Karini first?
Mm, basically, I would choose character that has similar character as mine. I
Mm-hmm.
mean like more to mature sides. Not like
Oh,
kawaii like oni-chan like that. You know what I mean?
okay. All right,
Yeah, not
understandable.
the chibi style, because cosplay is also acting. It's not just wearing costume. It's also an acting. So I want to like, yeah, it's easier for me to portray the character if it's close to my characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically that's how I choose the character. And also I would choose character that wear special kind of costume, not like usual like everyday costume. You know what I mean? Like for
Ah,
example,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
see people wear this every day. So I would
yeah. Of
choose that
course.
character. Because I want to
uh,
wear differently for, yeah, a special one. Yeah.
yeah, because you want to go big, something like that, right? So
Yes,
that's why you
yes.
go for a costume like that. So, but it's also nice, because it really show that how much you can exactly do. All right. So, how about Aya-san? What type of character you like to portray and why?
It's mostly like older lady and like males because they are very easy, they're very comfortable. Like
Oh,
my
all right.
friends or like my junior, they describe me as the Arara Nesan.
Araran-san?
Yes,
Okay.
like they're very very mature, elegant lady. They describe me,
Mm.
and this character is very like she's not shy. She doesn't talk a lot, which I like because I hate talking. First of all,
Oh, okay.
so like
Okay.
most unless it's with my best friend and friends that I'm close with. So most of the
Mm-hmm.
character I choose are like shy girls but older, and like even if you man, it's usually like is it the older sister, the older brother, like my like Toka from Tokyo Ghoul Re, dari dah ke? Hinata from Naruto the movie, the last movie.
Ah,
And
Hinata.
as you see, those character is already very very like, yeah. I guess the Nesan character is the easiest one.
So you guys actually pick, rather than picking the costume or how, thinking like how exactly the costume are made, you guys pick the characteristic. So,
Yeah,
wow, that
because
is it.
I don't like being cute like Nico Nico ni. Yeah, that is. I am not that cute person. I am not because probably because I have very very strict parents. So those kind of cute acting is very unlike, very not my personality. So, but there are times that I want to wear Lolita dress and something like that. But I will try to find like something that fits me. If that
I
will
see.
help the answers.
All right. Okay, that is interesting. Thank you for telling us. So, how about Amanda? What type of props or costumes that you like to create, and exactly why?
Okay, props wise, I would say things from styrofoam that would be fun and dangerous at the same time. Because when you cut wrongly, that thing just breaks easily. But there's
Oh
a challenge to
yeah.
it. There's a challenge to it, which is fun because the whole process of cutting and spraying and painting them and make it harden, and then you look at the end product. It's so big, but it's wonderful when you look at the weapon. That's one. In terms of costume wise, I'll be really honest. I've bought quite a lot of cloth and I tore them. I sew, I throw fake blood on it many times because many times I got involved in making costume that involve a lot of fake blood. I actually had to boil and make my own fake blood in the middle of the night to make the costume. Yeah, so
Okay.
well, those were the times where you can only purchase fake blood during Halloween. Okay, so if you want to buy things like if you really want to make your own one, then it's a struggle. So I do stay up in the middle of the night when my family's asleep, so I have more space in the house to to make all this such kind of costume. I would say making horror costumes is actually one of the fun part.
Oh.
I got requests aside from anime cosplay. I actually got requests many times back in my uni days where the university would like to do Halloween night and they asked me to prepare costumes for them and they approached me and I'll make a few set out of cheap recyclable clothes and I'll make lots of blood and yeah, it's a fun process but ultimately a lot of cleanup too.
Yeah. The cleanup part is kind of tiring in many
Mm,
ways, usually.
yes, correct. But it's worth it lah because seeing your friends putting on the costume, using your weapons at the end of the day, and then they telling you that, oh, this weapon is really sturdy. It's better than I thought. A sense of satisfaction lah.
Yeah, of course, because you
Yeah,
made it, and then the effort that you put in, like how you
yeah.
tell you do the work when other people are asleep, it's like something
Yeah,
funny.
some people think that it's like a waste of time doing all this, but to me, I think it's a really it's a good way to distress in some ways.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, Amanda, a little bit more question about you. I was actually wondering, how exactly do you create the fake blood? Like, what do you use for it?
Okay, you might find this a bit funny. It's actually
Okay.
chocolate syrup.
Oh,
Yes,
then how do you change it? Like, to black color, you edit something in it?
you just buy coloring, the red coloring, and
Ah,
you need red coloring and a bit of dark blue coloring, but not too much because the blood will turn purple color. That's one. Number two,
mm.
you buy chocolate syrup, buy the cheap one, don't buy the expensive one. My friend bought Hershey's chocolate syrup, to which I don't understand why. You buy the syrup, you boil it very hot. While it's boiling, that's where you start pouring half a bottle of the coloring in, of red coloring in. And you have to keep stirring it.
Mm.
Yeah, you have to keep stirring it, and you may have to add some water because chocolate syrup, the longer you boil, the more sticky it becomes. So you have to add a lot
Oh.
of water and you have to keep stirring to remain the consistency. And I can guarantee you that when you put this on your clothes, on your face, it's gonna feel very sticky. But at the same time, you smell really good for an undead person when you cosplay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the easiest way to make lah. I mean, Halloween's next month. Here's the idea, guys.
Okay, that is really, some good tips you got there. I never thought that I could make fake blood using chocolate and coloring. I thought that I can use like maybe some painting, but Seems like there are easy way for it, not like
There's
really
also another
easy,
way,
but yeah,
like
achievable.
using construct.
Sorry?
You can use construct actually, like tepung
Yeah,
jagung.
tepung
Yeah,
jagung also
and
good.
Oh,
yeah, put
Yeah,
the corn syrup and then put water and then red curling or syrup, whichever you have in your house, and then just stir it.
keep stirring it. You cannot stop stirring it. Yeah.
If you stop
all
stirring, it
right.
become very sticky
Yeah,
and it
that's
become
correct. Yeah.
And then you cannot use it, yeah. All right,
Yes.
that is understandable. All right,
Yeah.
so listening to your answers before, I can exactly see how much effort you guys put in creating all those props, those costume, makeups, and so on. So just a little bit, question. I wonder what is the challenges or maybe obstacles that you face during the journey, if you could share. So how about we start with Kaorini first?
Okay. I think Aya would talk about the family. About the
All
family
right,
life first. So I will choose another topic. Okay.
all right, okay.
um, this is not a really a big challenge, but this sometimes can be annoying. Um,
Hmm.
it is wait, how to phrase this? Criticism from the SCG community. SCG, if you
Oh,
know, anime, comic, game community, basically.
all right, okay.
Okay, criticism on your cosplay. Okay, for example, okay, I am tall. I'm quite
Yeah,
tall, not really tall, but quite tall. So
okay.
when I try to cosplay as a character that is quite short, as a shorter character, sometimes people be like, "Don't, you are not suitable for that character. Don't do that." Sometimes they do say like that. I was like, oh, okay. I want to cosplay for my own satisfaction, not yours. So why you being like this? So like for example, I want to cosplay as Ram from ReZero. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
watch
I think I
the,
know her.
yeah, she's
Hmm?
pretty short, right? And cute.
Yeah.
But one of my friend be like, no, you're not suitable for that character. Don't do that.
Mm.
I was like, oh, okay. And then I changed my mind. I cosplay as Emilia instead. So that's one thing that
Oh.
yeah, when I was first started to cosplays, I was very innocent. I was like, okay, okay, I won't. And also sometimes for like sometimes people have budget because they are, maybe they are students, they doesn't have a lot of money, they make their own costume, and sometimes their costume is not that very like perfect, not as close as the character. And then there are people that also cosplay the same character with a better costume, I guess. They will like comparing herself or themselves with that person. Be like, oh, mine is better. Oh my god, look at that. This is so hideous. This they made in it themselves. Oh my god, this is so hideous. There's a comment like that. I have
Mm.
received. I have received some because I always make my own costume. So I was learning and I'm not that good at it. So yeah, there are comment and criticism, but really for you all cosplayers out there or new cosplayers, please don't hear
Be
them.
discouraged.
Yes, please don't feel discouraged. Just cosplay whatever you want, what character that you like, just do it because that's your own hobby for your own satisfaction, for your own fun. So yeah, basically one of the problem that I
Mm.
encounter.
All right, but it's admirable to listen that since you create your own costume and then you got criticized for it at some point, but then you didn't stop. You keep on moving forward. You keep on making costume. That is very admirable. You got a strong heart for it, and you know I give you the credit for that. All right. So how about we move on to Amanda? What are the challenges that you face while doing the props and so on?
I think it's similar to what Kaori mentioned earlier. Like, how when you first started cosplay, you may not know how to, to make your costume. Okay, because sometimes you might also miss out a few things. So I think the same things apply to me when I first started joining as a part of a props team. And because I was very new, and of course, this is one of the challenge when you start something new, and this is something new that you're learning. Of course, you might make a mistake or two. Sometimes it's not say getting scolded, but like sometimes I try to help out to make the props, and it doesn't look exactly like as on the
Yeah.
picture. You see, sometimes it
Okay.
happens. Yeah, sometimes it happens because like we all know when you watch something from an anime or a manga, sometimes the design, the decoration is so too detailed that it's not something easy to replicate. You see, so sometimes when we try to do the closest we could do, and then sometimes we do get criticized for it, like, oh, the color doesn't match, or why can't you find the
Mm.
exact color, why didn't you draw exactly the same, why does the weapon look smaller than in the anime when the character carries it. Like sometimes we do get a lot of feedback, something like that, but we did our best as a props and design team, to do our best to outsource whatever we can get for you to help. But yeah, sometimes we do get this sort of criticism, I would say. Yeah, but I mean, come on, nobody learn to walk the moment they are born. You see, so it's a skill where you hone yourself, and you practice a lot until you make it perfect. I won't say perfect lah, but it becomes much better until where you are today. Yeah. So yeah, so this is one
So
of the few
a
things
little
that
bit.
we, yeah.
So it's like a little bit similar to Kaorinee. So yeah, for me, in my opinion, too, criticism is kind of a challenge to every of us, even in our life, isn't it? But because since Amanda is creating props and so on, I also have like this one friend. He used to create props for a character in Sword Art Online, I guess. And he just created
Sorry.
like from the school, the 1 meter long school ruler or something, and it turned out to be amazing. I found it very really amazing how he could change something cheap into something extravagant. So I
Yeah.
guess I guess Amanda, you also can do that thing too. So yeah, that is amazing to be honest. I can never do that because I don't have that kind of talent that he does. So okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. So now that you have asked Kaurini and Amanda, how about we ask Aya? What are the challenges that you face?
Well, unlike Kaorinee and Amanda, I don't usually get criticism from my surrounding because I have this personality that I do not give a damn about you guys. I only care about myself, my satisfaction. So I just like, yeah, you complain. But wait. So that is my personality. Even Kaorinee knows it very well because we are club members and we are very
Mm-hmm.
close and she knows my personality very well. My I guess my family because my not only my family, my siblings are okay because sometimes they ask recommendation of anime and manga to watch from me. So I just give it's more like my parents. My dad is okay, it's just my mom is very religious, so
Oh,
she has this
okay.
mindset. I'm sure I'm in the nose, and Kari knows that anime comic are for kids. She
Yeah.
has that
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah. All right.
He has that mindset. Even my older brother, he's married by the way. He's already have two adorable daughters, and he still watch Pokemon, Digimon, play games. And sometimes my mom does nag him. I was like, man, big bro, you are very courageous. I cannot do that. Even this, I'm cosplaying right now. I'm lucky that my mom is actually in care right now. She's accompanying my sister for her second dose of vaccination.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm alone, so I'm thank God. So
So you can freely
sister,
cosplay
my older
now.
sister, everyone, my sibling already knows that I'm cosplaying. It's an open secret already. It's just that they are very careful not bringing it up to my mom because oh god, the amount of lectures I'm going to get after that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very discouraging when your parents are opposed of your hobby. And he's probably, what are you doing it? What is it for? What's the point of it? It's like it's for myself. I just want to feel satisfied with myself. So yeah, that's probably my only like challenge and troubles. The only struggle, the other struggle, I'm sure all hijab cosplayer and all cosplayers or like we cosplay can understand. hijab styling. This one took a lot way too longer than we should. That's all.
You need to
Okay.
practice a lot of time beforehand
Yeah.
to
The
to
hijab,
practice
the hijab
this
styling.
thing. Yeah,
You know,
because
I
there are
can't
not a
really
lot of
imagine how
tutorial.
much pin you guys put on it. Oh my
Oh,
god.
countless. Oh no, you cannot count it.
Oh,
I don't even
I
remember.
lost count. I lost count. In fact, when we go to con, we bring extra in
Of
Yes,
case.
course.
Yes,
Because pins keep
definitely.
disappearing.
safety pins. You have
Yes.
to.
Yep.
Yes.
Always
I
need to bring
see.
backup
And you
when you
wonder
go
why
for
every
cosplay
cosplayer bring a big
conventions.
bag.
Exactly.
Oh really? Oh, I never
Yeah.
noticed that.
Always need backup because, like, we'll be honest with you, whenever the cosplayer starts their cosplay job, I would say during the convention, right? And it's very crowded, you see. People can bump into you, weapons will break somehow. You have to bring all the tools, all the sellotape, or everything all on standby, the pins and whatnot, because things like this will happen. Sometimes, if you're really unlucky, you might meet some people who take photos with you accidentally, they push you, your props might fall, your hairpin, yeah, your costume might tear. It's very hard to say sometimes.
Okay. All right. So actually, I have been asking you guys a lot of questions, right, up until now. So how about we venture a little bit to the audience question? All right. So I think we will take a question from the participant because it's already like 45 minutes in. So there is one question that they would like to ask you guys. All right. So the question is, wait, hmm, satu mati ko na sa ini.
Oh,
All right. So actually got this question from a person who actually he like messaged me directly. Okay. How do you convince? Okay. So this is the question. How do you actually convince your parents to allow you to cosplay?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
It's like a hard, very hard question.
Interesting.
So
All right.
everybody
No,
like,
I would like to share this.
okay.
Okay. At first, when I start to do cosplaying, I keep it secret from my parents. I do tell my siblings because they're more easygoing, but my parents is very pretty conservative, and because this is a new thing, and my dad especially feel like paranoid, like, oh, this is some kind of cult, like, this is a new cult. What is this? Yeah, so
Okay.
they will be quite worried. So I keep it secret, but one day my dad went to work basically in the morning, and then he come back at the night, and I'm finishing my costume at that time in the living room, and suddenly he went back early, and he saw me sewing a costume, and feel like, what is this? Oh, you
It's
know how to feel.
handsomely.
Oh. You know how you feel at that time. I was
I
like,
can
oh
totally
no.
relate on that.
I was
I
like,
might die.
oh my god, I feel like I died already. I was like, and then I'm shocked, and I ran to my room. I ran to my room, and I probably cried actually. I was like, oh, I'm so scared, and I cried. But after that, I want to come clean with basically my father, because my mother is more easygoing. She's like, if my father okay, then she's okay too lah. Just like that.
Okay.
So then I meet my father. Yeah, I talked to him face to face. I basically say that I really like costume. I really into sewing, making props, and I into acting. So I feel like this hobby really can give me opportunity to basically to do my hobbies. And I also say that because because why I continue to do hijab cosplay, because I want to show, even though you like for okay, basically this is for like Muslims girls. Even though you are want to cosplay, you can still obey to religion obligation. Basically, that's one of my goal. So like, because there's
As long as you
cosplayer
don't
that wear
crop.
hijab. Yeah, there's some cosplay that wear hijab. They take off their hijab for cosplay. So I feel like you can still cosplay with hijab. Look, I wear inner neck to cover up my neck, for example, as a Muslim basically. So I told him that, and he was like, okay, fine. He's like, accept, but I still don't show him that often. But he's still like, okay lah.
The progress of
Okay lah.
accepting. Okay.
Yeah, little by little. So yeah,
Alright. So
that's
how about Amanda? Because when Kaorinee say like she like kantoy, and then Amanda was like I can relate to that. So what is your story behind it?
Okay lah. Even like I'm also involved in doing props making and material. There are days when I also make my own stuff for myself to wear. So of
Okay.
course, you can't hide props and materials from your parents. Face the truth, okay? So things started to get more and more in my room. I can't hide my trash anymore. And because as a teenager back then, you would stay up every night, who knows what are you trying to do in the middle of the night. So there was me making my props and material very quietly in the night in my room, until one day my mom walked into my room, and then she saw all the trash everywhere in the middle of the night, and then she just asked me, what are you doing? So of course, yeah. So first of all, I would say, if you're asking me how would you convince your parents to allow you to cosplay, I think the most important question is, how well do you know your parents, and what's your relationship like with your parents? If you are like, let's just say, if you are like my case, my mom is more on the open-minded side, because we grew up with all these materials, all these anime and manga materials in the house. She was more open-minded to it. So I don't really hide things from her, you see. So eventually I can't hide all my trash in my room forever. So one day I just have to come clean, and I let her know that I have no money to cosplay, but I decided to pick up to learn the skill of, making props and material, learn to sew. And of course, my mom, without a doubt, she started laughing at me because I was sewing back then. And she said my sewing skills were wrong. And
Oh,
then
okay.
in the middle of the night, and of course I was very shocked. Eventually, she asked me to come clean. So I sat down, and I told her what was I doing. And then without thinking twice, she just asked me, do you still need to buy stuff? If you need, I can bring you to my usual tailor shop too. Mind blown.
Suddenly helping. Wow.
Yeah, because like you have to see, actually, like I mentioned, you have to see how's your relationship with your parents. Some things is best not to hide. If you can start by letting them know what you're doing slowly, bit by bit first, and then like what Kari did, like she talked to her mom first and asked her mom, just review things slowly. Don't just one in one go, just drop the whole thing to them. I think they'll get heart attack and pass away. Touch wood. Yeah, so I just let her know slowly in this case, and then one thing to another thing, and then I start bringing in the weapons too, and then she was like, wow, oh wow, you do that too. I was like, yeah. So yeah, so I would say take it easy, take it slowly, review things one by one, and then number two, take it easy if your parents don't take it in a positive way. Don't take it too hard. It takes time. Nothing happens overnight, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing happens in overnight. Yeah. So Aya,
Actually, doing what Amanda is trying to say is that I'm
yeah.
letting my mom know little by little actually, because I cannot
Oh,
hide my costume. I cannot hide all of my costume. Especially I have like 5 siblings,
Yeah.
3 bedrooms. I share my room with my sister and sometimes my mom. So I
okay.
guess I'm lucky because of my Korean course, because I do, as I mentioned in my introduction, I do like costume making, props making, set design. Like, hold on. And this is actually my set
Oh, wow.
costume making for one of my for one of my
Wow.
assignments, and so
Oh.
she doesn't question the costume at all. But I do know that
Oh.
sooner or later, I have to tell her. So I'm trying like
Yeah.
little by little, I'm trying to tell her, but I know what I'm going to get, a disappointment side, a disappointment
Oh.
gift for sure. But she has this mentality that as long as I do not cross the line, I'm okay because
Mm.
this is my choice. You make up your own choice. That is your life. You regret that is your own regret, not mine. That is like my mom is really mind your own business person. It's just that I do not have the courage to tell her yet. That's all. Really, it takes
It,
courage to tell your parents.
it takes time and courage, I would say. Maybe now might not be the right time, but in a couple of years' time, maybe in a year or two times, when you start going out working and all that, times would change lah. I would say definitely because like back when I started doing all this, I get a lot of scoldings. I'll be honest. When my mom first find out and all that, definitely there were very bad times. There
We
were
all still
arguments.
do.
Yeah,
I think it's
she
an
threatened.
Asian parenting. I don't know.
It's an Asian parenting.
I
I think
actually
like
agree.
yeah, because initially my mom thought like number one, it's like trash in your room in some way. Number
Yeah.
two, they worried that it takes up so much of your time that you're not studying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then number three, like sometimes parents are worried that when we go too deep into anime and all these things that we lost our sense of self in some ways. Yeah, that we lose our own values and belief because we watch too much something that's superficial or just fictional, you see. So it takes time for our parents to understand all this lah. Sometimes the existence of us children, is to also remind them that they went through the same phase as us, except they have a different cartoon back then lah. Compared to us.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Mm.
So I guess maybe honesty is the best policy after all, just complain and things like that. All right, guys. So actually, it seems that our talk show is, almost ending. I must say, it's a shame that we can't spend more time together and talk more. But I need to ask this one big question for you guys before I wrap things up. So, may I ask you guys, what are your future plans? So, can I start with Aya first?
Oh, my future plans. As you all know, that I currently study in cinematography theater, and I would love to work in the course that I'm actually studying because Malaysia theater is not that big and it's not that not really like well known to the public, and that we still have stereotypes that performing arts you can't get any gaji, you cannot get any salary from it, you cannot make a living out of it. So I have to fight against that stereotype, and I hope in the future that I can change, and hopefully I maybe not maybe I can work in the theater community in Japan.
Maybe
I will
yes.
try my best for sure because that's how I got into
Okay.
theater, Japan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You mentioned about the tennis. Is it tennis prince
Prince of
that make
Tennis.
you
Tennis no
prince of tennis?
Ozin.
I'm so sorry.
Prince of
Okay.
Tennis.
That makes you become this, and why you choose the cinematography, isn't it? Correct. So, how about Kaorinee? What are your future plans?
Okay. So if you watch my introduction video, basically I'm choose to study in animation, 3D animation production because okay, after this I will went into internship. I will I will go into like production because I want to create a better quality animation, local animation. For example, like for now is Upin Ipin is one of the biggest animation from Malaysia, and it become
Yeah.
already famous internationally. Yeah, so I feel like yes, I want to continue this legacy. I want to create more and more local animation. So basically that's my future plan. I will go into the production, so to involve into the making of animation. Yeah.
All right. So I wish you all the best for the animation part, and maybe one day we can, maybe work together, Kaori, because I am also an animation student. So who knows? Who
Oh,
knows?
really?
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe our path will cross someday. So yeah, like just yeah, we
See
know
you in
each other
industry
already.
later.
Okay, that's the spirit. All right. So how about Amanda? What are your future plans?
Good question. I'll be really honest. I don't really have one, but I do hope that the COVID pandemic will end soon, within 1 or 2 years' time. I'm pretty sure it's been a bummer for everybody. There's no ACG convention, nothing at all. There's no form of no outlet for us to cosplay or to build props and whatnot already
Yeah.
for now. So yeah, future plans. Number one, I hope the COVID will end. That's one. Number two, um, well, I'm not getting any younger, so if I have any like friends or anyone who wants to learn how to make props and material, the basic stuff, I don't mind teaching them. It's quite fun actually. It's like arts and craft. But of course, all in all, future plans right now, just hope for the COVID to end first. Then we can definitely take the next step further for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
since it's
it's
COVID,
no
right?
fun to cosplay alone
Yeah,
in your
exactly.
home.
I've seen an ACG anime comics and games convention online, which is from my friend who is the founder of Anima Gaki. She
Oh, I
also told
see.
me, yeah, she also told me that it's a struggle to do an online ACG convention. Yeah, so we hope that this comes to an end quick, that we all can continue living our lives as usual again.
Yeah, I hope so. I already like very, very I just hate how the situation of COVID right now. I hope everything will go,
Yeah.
better for all of us. So
Yes. Do
now
stay
I miss the
that
hopeful.
sun.
okay. Okay. So, lastly, before we end our show, I believe that all of you must have several favorite phrase or maybe one-liners from the character that you portray or you like. So, how about you share it with us and tell us why? So, let's start with Amanda first.
So today's kotowaza coming from me, which is a proverb. It's we would say it goes ashita wa ashita no kaze ga fuku. The meaning of it, it says the literal meaning. It says tomorrow is another day, but in actual reality is the actual meaning would go that whatever happens today, don't worry so much and always be positive about the future, the following next day, okay? Because anyhow, life goes on. Today, whatever happens today remains today. Tomorrow is another new day. So don't be so discouraged. Don't be so disappointed in yourself. Stay hopeful.
All right. That is a good point, because you cannot ponder about something that you do wrong today or maybe in the past too long because that will disturb you in the future. All right, that's a good point. All right, how about from Kaorinee? Let's see your phrase or one liner.
Okay, I try to read this.
You got
Gambatte.
this. You got this.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, so my phrase is actually from I picked from this one of my favorite anime show from Haikyuu. So
ah,
yeah, you like.
okay, okay.
So the phrase is Kimi tachi ga yowai to iu koto wa nobishiro ga aru to iu koto, which translate as weakness. Okay, there. Being weak means that there's room to grow. From Itetsu Takeda, the teacher in that show, basically. So this phrase is very direct. It's very clear and
Mm-hmm.
direct. If you have any weakness, if you have some kinds of disabilities, it just shows that actually you have a lot of room to improve. If you weak, then means that you can improve more and more. So don't feel like discouraged if you feel like you bad at anything or you weak at anything because actually you can improve little by little. It could take time, yes. it could take time and practice, and you have to learn a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do better. You still can learn and improve. So yeah, that's my favorite phrase.
All right. That is a good one too. Because sometimes when people are at the lowest, they feel like super discouraged and something. So yeah, actually, when we are in the weakest state, it just means that we have so much to improve. It's just that we need to work for it, right? So how about Aya-san? What is your phrase or one liner?
I have to say a favorite phrase is quite hard because I have a lot of favorite quotes from anime. But one of the most quotes that I like, I can relate, and it's actually one of my principle. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher the Japanese for sure. To kako o kako oku yande bakari de wa mai ni susume nai zo. So it means you can't move forward by regretting the past. I seen a lot of my friends like, what if in the past? What if in the past? Because I just like the past is already the past. You cannot change it already. Just move forward, learn from your mistake from the past, and improve it. So and that is my principle because what's happened already. You can't really you cannot just go rewind the time. You have superpower like Doctor Strange. Just
Yeah, exactly.
no, you can't do that. So just move forward. Learn from your mistake. Do not make the same mistake. Especially
Don't worry so much.
in theater.
Mm-hmm.
For me in theater, there's you from the audience point of view, everything might seem fine on the stage, but
Yeah.
backstage is chaotic.
Yes.
There's a
All
lot of
right.
mistake. There's a lot of mistake. There's a lot of problem, but you cannot show it. So once it's over, it's over. But you cannot regret it. Just learn from the mistake. Go forward.
Yep. That's why today is today's win, tomorrow is tomorrow's win. Don't worry so much.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist is my all-time favorite anime.
Oh, so that's why.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for sharing your favorite phrase and one-liner. All right. With that, we have reached the end of our talk. So, ladies, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best for your future. And I hope that if we happen to meet each other in the future, maybe we can greet and talk and have a fun time, just like what we have tonight. All right. So I am sorry to the viewers if there is some question from you guys that we may not have covered and answer them. So maybe later Amanda, Kaorinee, or Aya could go to the comment section and put out something if you like, for the viewers' sake. And with that, again, thank you for joining me today, for your willingness. And that's it for today. I guess, thank you very much. And それでは、またね、皆さん。バイバイ。
またね。ありがとうございます。バイバイ。
ありがとうね、みんな。